if you're starting out, I think as like, just fresh out of university, I think getting into the industry in terms of the writing industry in general, for me, one of my first foots in the door was just by cold calling a company. Like I used to work for this TV program called the Charlie Rose Show in America, and yeah, which is on PBS. And that I just got by actually just phoning them up. I mean, they didn't advertise anything, but I'd phoned them and I asked them if they were doing any sort of internships. And I was lucky enough, the producer said to me, actually we are. And so I went in and then I did interviewed, and then that was it. Like that was sort of my first connection. And I think so, don't be afraid to kind of just phone companies up that you're interested in terms of like different publications, because I think it's really important to really write for different publications if you really want to start gaining experience. And then in terms of like writing a book and wanting to like get into that, I think for me what's helped was having like a subject of expertise. For me, it's become Korea, and I think maybe it sort of happened accidentally just from my career as a journalist. I was covering Korea, so like it helped me stand out, I suppose. My publishers came to me, and I was one of the lucky few when my publishers found me, so, and I think that's down to the fact that I had a subject that a subject of expertise. And I think that might be something that you might look into. I think if you wanted to sort of build your way up to something, like if you have a book idea in mind, I would say like try to sort of build your expertise around it, and then it will be almost like publishers might come find you once they know that you are the expert in that subject. So I hope the book will inspire people to visit Korea as well, but just to kind of, explore more things, because obviously my book provides an overview, but I hope that it will just motivate people to want to delve deeper into the culture, for sure.
If you have a desire to become a writer, now's the time. There are so many different publishing options, more than ever before. You can self-publish, you can go with a hybrid publisher, you can go with a traditional publisher. I went with a traditional publisher, and if that's what you'd like to do, there's a few steps you can take. Part of it is growing your presence online, your thought leadership, developing your social media profiles so that you have a sort of a following and people get to know you. And then you should start by looking at books that are already on the market and seeing where you might be able to offer something different. And then start by writing a book proposal about your target audience, about what the book will be about, the table of contents. And then you just have to set aside the time to really work on it. So nights, weekends, whenever you have a chance. Some people like to get up early and dedicate it a few hours each morning. Some people are more about the weekends. Whenever you can fit it into your schedule, and you can do it. I know it sounds overwhelming in the beginning, but if you just think about it in chunks, maybe a chapter at a time here and there, it's not as overwhelming. And absolutely, if you're interested, I think you should go for it. There are always two pieces of advice that I give to everyone out there in business as entrepreneurs. And the first one is that, I really want to tell people that they can do anything that they put their mind to. It's all about just having the right attitude and being confident, and just keep moving forward. No matter what obstacles you hit, you can achieve whatever you want. Again, just think that you can do it, know that you can do it, and stick with it. Set those goals and just keep going. And then the second piece of advice, and we've talked a lot about this before, but it's really just to take care of yourself. Make sure that you are focusing on different areas of your life. Life is short. You never know how long you have. So you have to enjoy those people that are important for you. Many times we're so busy with work and other things that we say we're going to get to that one day, but we never know when that last day is. So I always tell people, make sure you're balanced and really taking time for people and other things that are important for you too.
a good tool for a lot of people starting in business. Been in business for a number of years that need to look back and reconsider how they're doing things.
Yeah, that's what, some of it seems like it's common sense, but even myself, I find myself like I have to follow my own advice too, because it's basics, but it's basics that you need to keep, reminding yourself of no matter where you are in the journey.
Trust your gut. One thing that really honed my writing was to get involved in a writer's critique group that, I had already written and actually published my book before I got involved in a writer's critique group. And I wish I had done that prior to actually pulling the trigger on publishing, because I learned a lot of things and getting the feedback of, there's a group of a half dozen people and they're all accomplished authors. And we would read an excerpt from each other's work each week and then critique it. And getting the honest, direct, ugly truth about things you're doing and things you could change in your writing style and everything really enabled me to go back through. And I probably made 1,000 very minor changes in the book. Nothing substantial as far as the storyline or anything, or the dates and times and figures, but minor things to correct my use of the English language so that it reads much better now than it did. I would just advise people that if they're interested in writing, get involved in a local writers group. There's thousands of them. Please visit my website, www.badkarmabook.com. I reserved that domain about 15 years ago, so I've had time to set it up. And then please, if you read the book and enjoy it, or however you feel about it, I'd enjoy having you let me know, either via direct message through my website or through a review on Amazon. The reviews on Amazon, the ratings there, they're like gold to a debut author. And I read every one of them, I value every one of them. And so know that your words and comments are being heard. Okay.
For new writers, number one, sit down and write. Just start writing. And don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, because writing is an art. The same as singing, the same as acting, the same as dance. As an artist, you have to be willing to open yourself up and be vulnerable and accept, criticism. Not everybody's going to love your story, but you're always going to find audience for your story. And my advice is to not be afraid. Learn as much as you can. Spend as much time learning from, the masters and reading books and learning how to write, and find your own style, find your own voice, But the way to learn to be a writer is to sit down at your computer or however you do and start writing and write your story. Everybody's got a story, everybody's got a story inside them. So just take the time. So many people intend to or want to write a story, but the first step is do it, do it. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid. Just write your story and take it from there, So that's my advice. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid to do it. You can find all my books on my website at authorkevinmiller.com. And we've got some audiobooks coming out. I'm waiting to hear back from ACX and Audible they're reviewing the Heart of Steel audiobook right now. And White Skies Black Mingo is currently being recorded by a wonderful voice actor named Aliska Hahn. She is voicing the book, and I've heard some sample chapters so far, and she's blowing me away. Her voice is exactly the voice that I hear when I was writing the book. So that should be coming out in the next few months, both the audio books. The other, and then of course the other thing, Heart of Steel, we're still working on, has been optioned for a movie deal. So we're still working on getting that ready, pitching it to the studios here in Southern California to see if we can't get that book on screen. And if we do, we might start pitching White Skies too, and see if we can get that, get some interest in that story as well.